Hey guys, it's Memorizer92, and today I made this short video for people who doesn't know why you have to go for level 3 Pinnacle class engraving instead of level 1 or level 2. For those who are running control class engraving have nothing to do with this video, but if you have an interest in Pinnacle, this video will help you as well. I have lots of Glaivier videos, so please check my channel if there are videos you are interested in. Okay, let's get started. Before we go over why you have to go for Pinnacle level 3, you have to know what this Pinnacle engraving exactly does. So this is the English version of Pinnacle description, and if you see here at level 3, as Pinnacle Flurry Focus 3 instead of, okay, first of all guys, am I the only one who didn't understand what this is saying? At least they have to provide figure, right? But it doesn't show you any figure, which means it doesn't indicate you how much this engraving increases your identity buff, right? So let me try to explain what Pinnacle engraving does and what identity buff exactly does. If you switch over your stance by having your gauge filled up like this, then you can see a certain buff right above your HP, like this. And this is called identity buff that a Lance Master get by switching over. And you can see it increases some kind of factors for a certain amount, right? If you don't have Pinnacle engraving, not even level 1, and you switch over from red stance to blue stance, then it will give you this buff. It says it will raise your attack speed by 10% and damage by 10% and crit rate by 15% for 20 seconds. Well, if you try to switch over from blue stance to red stance, then it gives you a different buff for just 10 seconds, guys. If you see here, it says it increases your movement speed by 15%, damage by 10%, and the critical damage by 25%. Well, but if you have a Pinnacle engraving, for instance, level 3, like this, then when you switch over, you get a different buff. For instance, if you switch over from red stance to blue stance, then the image changes, right? And it says for 20 seconds, it increases your attack speed by 15%, damage by 15%, and crit rate by 25%. If you switch over from blue stance to red stance, then this time you will get for 10 seconds movement speed by 15%, damage by 20%, and critical damage by 50%. So I listed how much the Pinnacle engravings increase the identity buff by the level. So if you see here, if you change your stance from red to blue stance by having level 1 Pinnacle, that means the damage will increase by 12.5%, crit rate by 20%, and attack speed by 12.5% instead of having these figures. And the most important part is this part, guys, where the Pinnacle level 3 is at. So if you see here, either changing from red to blue or blue to red, you can see that there's a significant change on the figures. So this is why you definitely want to go for level 3 Pinnacle. And one thing that you guys have to make sure is that Pinnacle is applied only on max gauge. What this means is that it will be applied if you switch over from either stance to other when having max gauge. But if you switch over by not having the your gauge filled up, then the Pinnacle engraving will not be applied, which means you're gonna lose lots of buff. Specialization stat for Glaivier is also important. If you see here, I have 1,713 specialization, right? And if you see the detail on the right side, it says, if I try to translate in English, it increases the effect of identity buff that you get both from either switching from blue to red or red to blue by 124.98%. And this figure is applied after the Pinnacle engraving is applied. So for instance, I'm running level 3 Pinnacle, right? And at level 3, if I switch from red to blue stance, it will give me some buff, right? And let's see the crit rate, guys. It says it will give me 25% of crit rate if I have level 3 Pinnacle engraving, and if I switch over from red to blue stance. You guys got this, right? And let's do the quick math here. So if I try to open my calculator up like this, I hope you guys can see this, right? So here, my current crit rate is 25%, right? And this specialization says it will increase the effect by 124.98%, right? So the right math here is to multiply 2.2498. So, and if you enter this, then it says my crit rate will not be 25, it will be 56.245% in the blue stance. That's what it literally says. So let's find out if this is actually, correct or not. So in detail, you can see the detail by clicking this button, and this is my current crit rate, guys. My current crit rate is 1.82%, and this is because of this 51 crit stat that I have. See here? So in short, it will raise a 56.245% from here, then I should plus 1.8 here, right? Which will be 58.6065%. Let's see if it actually works like this, guys. Now I'm gonna switch over from red stance to blue stance by having level 3 Pinnacle engraving. See what happens, guys. This is the crit rate. 58.06, which is identical to this figure. So this is how everything's, mathed up, guys. And this is same for all other factors. Like for instance, if you switch from blue to red stance, what are the factors, the offensive factors that you get, guys? It's damage, crit damage, and movement speed, right? So this part is damage, guys, and this part is crit damage. And lastly, if you scroll down way down here, where is it? Yeah, this part is movement speed, guys. So if I try to switch over from blue to red stance by having max gauge, see what happens for the damage and crit damage. See, it increased by a lot here, and here it increased from 200, and lastly, if you see the movement speed, it is capped to 140. So it literally shows how important to run level 3 Pinnacle engraving with high specialization. Thanks, guys. That's all for this video. Please hit the subscribe and follow my Twitch if you want to see more info about either Glaivier, Destroyer, and Arcana, and so on. Thanks for watching, and hope to see you guys again soon. Bye bye.